Yo, YouTube, what's good, man? It's your boy Morphaze, and I'm back with another banger. Nah, though, for real though, check me out. Someone left a comment underneath my video, and it's a comment that a lot of people ask me on how do I use the corner of the blade and when do I use the corner of the blade. And I feel that was a really good question. Now, when fading, the only time I like to use the full blade is when I am setting in a guideline or I'm trying to lighten up that guideline to get ready to remove it. Now, to take out my lines, I like to use the corner of the blade, just using the last three teeth. And you want to have the clipper slanted a little bit so you can be real precise on the spots that you are trying to attack, rather it's taking out a line or trying to hit them darker spots in the fade. So now let's get into detailing the fade to polish it up, to take it to the next level, to really give it that blurry. I like to detail with no guard. I'm either no guard closed, no guard halfway, or no guard all the way open. Now, depending on where I'm at in the fade, that's where I need to be with the lever. If I'm all the way closed, I need to be at the very bottom of the fade. If I'm halfway in the lever, I need to be halfway in the fade. If I'm all the way open, I can be at the very top of the fade, and you are still using the corners the whole time while detailing to really hit them hot spots and all them dark spots that you see that's really throwing off your transition to really give it that big blurry. Now, Raphael, I really hope that answered your question on when do I use the full blade, my corners, and how I use my corners. For anyone else, man, if you are struggling with haircuts or you guys got any other questions, feel free to message me on Instagram, man. Show me pictures of your work, and I will help you guys out to the best of my ability. Yo, YouTube, what's good? In this video, I will be doing a high skin taper. He's getting knocked down with a 6 and he wanted some color enhancements. To start the video off, you always want to start by combing out the client's hair. Since my client do have thicker hair, I picked up a wide tooth comb just so it can feed through the hair a lot easier instead of just going in with my regular comb and the comb get all stuck and stuff. So then we pick up the number 6 guard, and especially when you're dealing with like curly texture or like straight hair, whenever somebody want the hair knocked down, you always want to go against the grain to give it more of an even cut. And with my Tune 45 clipper, I am in turbo mode, so I'm just ripping right through the hair. And keep in mind, when you are cutting the hair, this should be your easiest step throughout the whole haircut. Now we're going to start working on the back taper. You can see he have a strong weight line going on in the back, so I wanted to soften that up before I started fading. So I threw on the number 4 guard, and I'm going to start fading down. I'm going to start open, and then I'm going to close it. And right when I get to that weight line, I am going to scoop out because I do not want to create another harsh guideline. We just want to soften it up. Then you see me just threw on the 3, and I'm stacking that right on top of the 4, and that should soften that line up, and I should be good to go to fade right into it. Then I pick up my Tune 45 trimmer, and I'm setting the guideline in with the trimmer upside down so I do not create a harsh guideline for myself. Then I pick up my Tune 45 clipper, and I'm going up about 1 inch. And I'm going over this guideline multiple times to make sure that I have it down to its desired length. And I will be doing the same system that I always use. So I start closed, and now you see me start to tap at that guideline. Once you see that guideline shift, you will open up your lever 1 notch. Once you see that guideline shift, you should be halfway in your lever, and you should be at the very top of your guideline. That line should be completely faded out. If that line is not out, just go back and repeat the same exact steps. Now I threw on the 0.5, and you can see how the hair is growing in different directions. That's the way you want to cut the hair. And I'm going up about another 1 inch as well. And once you got this guideline down to its desired length, you're going to put the lever halfway, and you're going to go halfway in the guideline.
and you're going to start to see this line start to lighten up for you. Once you see that, you just close the lever up all the way and start hitting the very bottom of the guideline. That should be your only focus, is hitting the bottom guideline. If that line do not come out, do not trip. You're going to take off the guard. You're just going to be using the corner of the blade, getting rid of the rest of the line that was left over from the 0.5. And you can see my transition is coming together beautiful, setting them up for a nice blurry back taper. Then you want to throw on the 1.5. Now I'm about to fade this right into that number 3 guard that I left off with when I was down fading. And this is going to bring my blend all the way together. You're going to start open and then you're going to close it. And to get rid of that line, that faint line that you see, you're just going to slap back on your 0.5 guard with the lever open, just using the corners just to get rid of that line. And just look how this taper just came together. Blurry. Quick and easy, simple steps, man. Now we're just gonna finish up this side and we're gonna move on to the side taper. All right, now you can see how he have a heavy weight line and is all discombobulated. You want to soften that up. So we throw on the 4 guard and we are going into it and we are scooping right out because I do not want to create a harsh guideline. So I start with the 4 guard open, and then right under the open, you're gonna close it. Then I'm going to jump down to the 3 guard open, going right underneath the 4. And you're just going to repeat the same exact steps. You're going to start open with the 3, and then you're going to close it. And then you should be good to move on and set in your first ball guideline for a high taper. With your high tapers, is no C cup, so you want to start right at the bottom of the vertical bar and go straight across. My client can use the foil shaver, so we are going to skin him out completely. And we're going to go in and set in the first guideline with no guard open. I'm going up about 1 inch. To take this line out, it's the same exact system. We're going to start closed. We're going to start to tap at the guideline. Once that guideline shift up, we're going to open up our level 1 notch. Once that line shift, you should be halfway in your lever and you should be at the very top of the guideline. If your line do not come out, just go back and repeat the same exact steps. I seen a little line, so you see me pick up my trimmer and just use the corners and knock out the rest of that line. Now we're gonna throw on the 0.5. You can see his hair is growing sideways as well, so we wanna make sure that we are cutting the hair in the direction that it wants to grow. Once we got our guideline placed in the way that we like, then we can go ahead and put the lever halfway. We're going to go halfway in the guideline until that guideline lighten up, and then you are going to close it up all the way, and you're just going to hit the very bottom of the guideline. Now with my tapers, I do like to bring it a little bit behind the ear. It's just something that I like to do. If you don't like bringing your tapers behind the ear, you do not have to do it, but I just think the blend look a little bit better when you put the taper around the ear a little bit. Now to take out the little bit of the line that's left over from the 0.5, you just take off the guard and you just use the corner of the blade to take out the line. And just make sure that you are using your corners when taking out the line. You might have to do a little bit of lever play if the line is not coming out, but as long as you just using the corners and you got that clipper angle in the right direction, you should be good to go. Then we're gonna go right to the 1.5, and this will be the last guard I will be using to set in the guideline. And we fading this right into that number 3. And this side of the taper, it didn't give me problems, but it was just like real tedious just from how the hair is growing, it was just all over the place. But as long as you just stay with your system and you just stay consistent and be patient, you're going to get the blend that you are looking for. So you're just going to start open. Once it lighten up, you're going to close the lever and you're just going to hit the bottom of the guideline. And then you're going to throw back on the 0.5 guard to clean up the line that was left over from the 1.5. And that should bring your transition together. Any other work beyond this point will just be detailing, just to bring the taper all the way together and just make it super clean and blurry. Now at this part of the fade, I went through my whole entire system. I faded out all the lines. Now everything from this point on is just detailing out the taper to really make it pop. So you just hitting all them little dark spots or anything that can be possibly throwing off the transition. Now on this side, we are just going to be repeating the same exact steps. And it's just something that I want to briefly talk about. One of my subs messaged me on Instagram and he had a question on how I fade in my system. And he asked, when you say 1.5 guard, is it just the 1 guard you're using open to close, or specifically the 1.5 guard? I know it's different saying, and I'm just asking. Now to answer this question, I am not using the 1 guard in my system. I am replacing the 1 guard for the 0.5 guard. And after the 0.5, I am using the 1.5. And to take out that 1.5 guideline, I'm jumping right back down to the 0.5 to take out that line. So I'm only using 2 guards in my system unless I am debulking the fade. Then I would throw on either the 4 or the 3 at the beginning of the fade. But to place my guidelines in, the only guards that I am using is the 0.5 and the 1.5. And the reason why I am able to skip guards like that, because this clipper, it comes with a stretch bracket and a taper lever. That means when you are all the way open, this clipper opened up a lot more than your normal clipper. So that allows you to be able to skip guards. So my 0.5 guard is acting as my 1 guard, and my 1.5 is acting as the 1 guard. So that just allows you to skip your guards, fly through these fades, and be a lot more efficient and get a clean blend. And I don't know, man, it could be just me, but I feel like ever since I've been cutting with this clipper, it gives me more of a softer, cleaner, fluffy blend, if that makes sense. If you have this clipper, drop a comment down below and let me know how you've been liking them so far, or are you having trouble fading with them? Shoot me a DM or something on Instagram, pictures of your work, and I'll be more than happy to help you out. Now we're gonna jump right into prepping the lineup. Before I line up my clients, I like to just grab some alcohol on the neck strip. I like to wipe down everywhere where my trimmer is just gonna hit. Then I like to come back with some holding spray, spray everything down, and then brush everything in place and blow dry it with cold air to freeze everything in place. Then I'm gonna come back with my Tune 45 trimmer, and we're gonna start by lining up his neckline, keeping everything nice and natural. Right when you get behind the ear, you want to make sure that you are just using the corner of the blade to really get that, to really pop out that circle look. And then we are going to line up his vertical bar. And we're gonna work back on the other side, line up the neckline. Make sure you are folding down the ear, and when you're going around that curve, make sure you use the corner of the blade. And you can see, man, I got these trimmers smacking. Tap and goes. Now we're gonna line up the front, and we're going to start right in the middle. This is your balance, and this is where everything flows. Then you want to identify your client's weak side of the edge up. Wherever his weak side is, that is the side that you want to line up first. And you can see in my client corners, he's a little bit lighter in them areas. You do not want to dig in them areas. You want to just act like there's hair there, and you want to make a ghost line. You want to line up natural as possible. And always make sure when you get to the corners that you are popping them corners out. This actually stands the edge up and give it that illusion that it is straight. Now we're going to be adding some enhancements. I am using my Beam Team cordless compressor with the no drip, and the color is Honest Black because my client had black hair. And we are using the clutch card by Tune 45 as well. All three of these is a fire combination. Beam Team compressor, the clutch card, and the no drip. And when you are spraying enhancements, you don't ever want to have the gun super close to the client's head. You always want to keep a distance, and you want to like mist it on there. Then we're going to come back with some Tune 45 fibers. This is just giving my client more of a fuller look, and it makes it look like it's hair there instead of just using the no drip where it just look glossy. So the fiber just make it look a little bit more natural. And right after you finish with the enhancements, you always want to come back and hit the line again with the trimmers to make sure everything is super straight. And I would not be using the precision pencil, just the no drip and the fibers. And you can see how clean this cut is coming out. Then I'm going to be using the Tune 45 shave gel. I like to apply it with just 2 dots on each side. Then I'm going to be using my Tune 45 Turkish razor, my pink one. I call that Pink Panther. And you just want to make sure that you are stretching the skin. You got the razor angled at a 45-degree angle, and it's going to glide like butter. And I always like to hit my lines 2 times to really give it that crispy look, man, that crispy cream. And just look how this cut is just coming together. We hitting the front edge, making sure everything is nice, sharp, and symmetrical. And just look at the taper from this view. Crazy. And we're just gonna repeat the same exact steps on this side. You see how I'm just stretching the skin, brush everything off, and you come back and hit that line one more time to make sure that you got everything super sharp, crispy. Like, you want this beard so sharp that if you put your finger across that line, that is going to slice your finger and you're going to be bleeding, bro. Then we're going to be adding some mousse just to pop out them curls, man. You know what they say, man, the girls love the curls, man. Then we're going to be using the sponge to really curl the hair up. It's always good to be styling your client's hair as well. That really pops out the cut. Then you just run your fingers through the hair to pop out the curls a little bit. And look at that back taper, man. That's a BLURRY. And this is how he came in looking. Yeah, he needed a haircut. We needed to save him, man. But thanks everyone for watching, man. Don't forget to like, don't forget to comment, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button. If you like any tools or any products that I use in this video, click the link below and it will automatically give you your 10% off. And don't be afraid to send me y'all photos on Instagram, man, on anything that y'all struggling with. I'm here for y'all, man. I will help y'all out with anything that y'all need.
I'm out ya.